So, we meet again. Hey everyone, back this week with some more Sports Check, and I saved a fresh slice for you. So guess what? Football is back in the headlines. Shocker. It truly never ends. And true to form, many teams will head back this week for spring practice mere weeks after the Super Bowl ended. They'll be practicing for the 2013 season, but the big news lies in 2014, where College Football's Subdivision Committee is considering expanding the current postseason format. Playoffs! Don't get too excited. They're just talking, and they'll meet 2 or 3 more times before any final changes are made by the July 1st deadline. But word is the committee is already looking at over 60 different potential plans. And to think, all it took was 6 consecutive titles by the same conference. The last time I saw a non-SEC school win the BCS, I went straight home after the game. Because I had a curfew. You know, it didn't have to be this way. The SEC and ACC both proposed a +1 14 playoff format back in 2008, but it was quickly snubbed. Ironically, it's now the favorite model to supplant the current system, and it would still protect the bowl season. For now. The knock on a 14 playoff, of course, is the temptation to expand and possibly step on the bowl's toes in the future. Bowl games are the last remnant of what makes college football truly unique in sports, but the current system must change and the bigwigs know it, even if it means biting the hand that feeds them. Before I move on, I don't get a chance to highlight soccer very often, so I wanted to shout out Team USA, who beat Italy for the first time ever last week, 1-0. Clint Dempsey scored the lone goal for the U.S. in the first half, but goalie Tim Howard stole the show and shut down Italy on their home soil. Soccer is one of the world's last major sports that America has consistently struggled in, never making a World Cup final, much less winning the actual title, so it's really good to see us get a marquee win on the road. Oh yeah, time for some fun. Sometimes in sports, certain headlines or events really make you scratch your head. And lately, my head's been itching like crazy. And I use off-brand Head & Shoulders. How else am I to maintain these gorgeous locks? I apologize for that tangent, but Jim Irsay may have to craft a much larger apology to Colts fans if Andrew Luck isn't in fact the second coming. Because the first coming just packed his bags for free agency. News broke late Tuesday that the Colts intend to cut Peyton Manning and confirmed it the very next day at a team press conference. Why? Because Andrew Luck is the most NFL-ready quarterback since Cam Newton. Yeah, besides the Panthers' good fortune in snagging the one-year college phenom last year, how many of those other number 1 quarterback draft picks have worked out recently? Sam Bradford, Alex Smith, Jamarcus Russell, anyone? Anyone? Really? Anyone? Don't worry, I didn't forget Matthew Stafford, who's doing well in Detroit, but resting your hopes on a quarterback to save your franchise is becoming a risky business. As a matter of fact, in the last 15 years, only 2 quarterbacks drafted number 1 have even made their own conference championship game. And both their last names are Manning. What kills me is that Peyton was ready to come back. The doctors had cleared him, he was practicing, and several reports had surfaced of him working out and throwing with Colts teammates. So much for that. Now the subject switches from will he stay to where will he go? Already 10 teams are chomping at the bit for a shot at the franchise-changing QB. The Arizona Cardinals, Miami Dolphins, and Washington Redskins have all emerged as early contenders for Manning's services. But don't count out the Chiefs, and personally, I'm holding out for the Jets. Imagine Peyton on a team that's actually good at something he doesn't make them good at. In any case, Andrew Luck will find his new home much like Manning found it. Rebuilding and in disarray. The question is, can he take those same humble means and produce Peyton-like results? He better. More dumbfounding news found its way onto the airwaves last week when the NFL concluded their investigation of the New Orleans Saints bounty program. Here's the deal. Members of the Saints defensive unit would, with coaches' prior knowledge, have pre-game money pots with the bounty going to the game's biggest playmakers. Cash from the pool would be awarded for interceptions, sacks, safeties, and fumble recoveries. But knocking an opponent out of the game or sending them home on a stretcher would also fetch a decent price. Hold up. Is anyone out there actually surprised this has come to light? Not this guy. It's football, with extremely rich people playing. Honestly, most franchises probably have a bounty program. Not a week removed from the news in New Orleans, we found out the Redskins had a similar situation. Now, with that said, that doesn't make it cool. League Commissioner Roger Goodell has largely built his tenure on player safety, and the timing of this discovery couldn't be worse, especially with former players currently suing the league for its concussion policies in the past. What puzzles me is how low those bounties actually were. $1,000 to knock somebody out? These guys spend $1,000 on lunch. The only motivation as far as money's concerned would be for players making the league minimum. But still paying around $5,000 for that swanky New York penthouse apartment. Again, people, the only oddity here is that the news actually leaked. I've never considered the Saints a staunch defensive team, and they're certainly better, more aggressive teams out there. They just know how to keep their mouth shut. Okay, y'all, this is the 10th episode of Sports Check, and before I went any further, I just wanted to thank all of you who have been watching me, showing me support, giving me feedback on the videos. It's been great, and it just keeps me motivated. So from me to you, thanks. But that's the show for this week. Leave me a comment below the video on Facebook or YouTube, and let me know what you think. So until next time, I'm Seth Hagen, and this has been your Sports Check. Later. Man, knew I should have watched more Sports Check.